Hello folks, this is Mike, PC31 the Vinyl Policeman, and this video is a contest entry into Martin Harris's contest. Martin lives in Portsmouth, which is the city which I was born in, Portsmouth on the south coast of England. And Martin lives there now and I live just outside, so we're not too far away at all. Martin has successfully broken through the 1,000 subs barrier. And Martin's been in the VC for quite a while now, produces some really interesting videos. He doesn't just collect vinyl, although he's a big vinyl collector, also CDs, well into TV, collects DVDs, well into film. So his contest, which is 10 questions, basically also touches on a bit of film and TV as well. So, but 10 really interesting questions, get you deep diving into your collections. Last day for entry into his contest is February the 28th, and he's going to draw it on March the 1st. And the prize money is £50 in Amazon vouchers or used cash. But what I'll do is I'll put a link to the contest below, and I'll also put the 10 questions as well. Okay, so first question is the most unique item in your collection. So I could have shown the things like, Blue Triangle or Dark Side, but there obviously were runs of those kind of things. So unique, I guess, things which are autographed or absolute one-off things. Well, one of my favourite bands who I'm always showing in the VC is the Comsat Angels, and this is their debut album from 1980, Waiting for a Miracle. And what makes this one unique is that Stephen Fellows, who is the lead vocalist and guitarist, has signed this one for me. So Mike, all the best, Stephen Fellows. So that's obviously one of my treasures. So a unique item in your collection. Next one is question 2 is a money related album, song or cover. So it can be in the name of an album, it can just be in a song, it can be, Money by Pink Floyd, whatever. The one I've chosen is on Polly Harvey's last studio album, PJ Harvey, the Hope 6 Demolition Project. And on that one is a really good song called Dollar Dollar. Don't know if you can see it there, but the last track on the album, Dollar Dollar. So money related album, song or cover. Mine's a song on Polly Harvey's last studio album to date. Third question, an album made by an actor. So, okay, struggled with this one. And the only one I think I've got that I can think of at the moment is I've got a bit of a soft spot for Dennis. I've shown this before, for Dennis Waterman. And Dennis Waterman is a national treasure in Britain because he passed away last year, unfortunately. But he was in 3 of the biggest TV series on British television. The Sweeney back in the 70s. Minder, and then New Tricks. So he was in these constant, really high rating shows, but he always fancied himself as a singer, and he made several albums actually. And whenever I see them, they're pretty rare, but I always pick them up. And this is probably the most famous one because it's called So Good For You, and he used to sing the theme tunes to some of the shows he was in. And So Good For You was the theme tune to Minder, which he sang. It's quite a famous song in the UK. So Dennis Waterman, a film starring a musician, and what I've got for there is Straight to Hell, and the musician in question is Joe Strummer. So the film is kind of a parody of a spaghetti western. It's become a bit of a cult movie actually, made in 1987. Director was Alex Cox, sorry. And Joe plays a hitman called Sims. And Straight to Hell was obviously taken from the Clash song from 1982 from Combat Rock. But as I say, it's a bit of a parody of a spaghetti western. Is it a fantastic film? No, it's not a fantastic film. But Joe's in it, Elvis Costello's in it, some of the members of the Pogues, Grace Jones is in it, Kathy Burke, yeah, I said Elvis Costello, yeah, Dennis Hopper, so Courtney Love. So it's an interesting film, but obviously my interest is because Joe's in it. So, number 5, your favourite music biopic. And the first one I thought of here was Walk the Line, Johnny Cash's bio from 2005. But I've seen it several times, but I haven't actually got the DVD. Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll from 2010, Ian Dury biopic, which again I've seen, but I haven't actually got it on DVD, but I think it's really, really good. But one I have got on DVD from 2009 is Nowhere Boy, the John Lennon biopic. So that's the one I'm showing. Nowhere Boy, John Lennon. Number 6, your country's flags, colours, using coloured vinyl or sleeves. So obviously I'm England, UK. So being an Englishman, I could have just shown red and white, but let's go for the whole lot. Let's go for Union flag, Union Jack. So Killing Joke, Hosannas, from Hosanna. I mean, this is a reissue, but red vinyl on this one. Okay, Hosannas 2006. That's when it was originally from, but that's a reissue. The Fall 458489, which is a single. It's like a greatest hits album actually. That's in white vinyl. The 45s for singles, and the 8489 in the title is it's kind of mid-period. The Bricksmith period, where there were a lot of fantastic singles. I mean, on this album, Hey Luciani, Big New Prince, fantastic song. It's one of my favourites. Victoria, Kinks, Ray Davis. They always pop up somewhere for me. Some really fantastic songs on this one. But yeah, so this is the 4 white vinyl. And the blue one is returned with Killing Joke again. And this is their 15th album, released in 2015. This is very industrial metal, this one. And that's blue vinyl. So that's my red, white and blue. Question number 7. Solo records by all members of a band. The all members got me a bit, because I can think of a number of bands where a couple of the artists have released solo records, but not the whole band. So the band I've rested on is Rolling Stones, and sadly, because Charlie's not with us anymore, focused on obviously Keith, Mick and Ronnie, because Steve Jordan's not considered a member of the Stones at the moment. He's just a touring musician with them. And so I'm going to show Keith. I've got all of Keith's records, but just something a bit different. I'm going to show a 12-inch because Christian's only just gone. And this is Chuck Berry's Run Rudolph Run, The Harder They Come, Jimmy Cliff, and Pressure Drop, Toots and the Mayors, which they're on it as well actually. That's red vinyl. Okay, 12-inch. I'm going to show a 12-inch of Mick, Gotta Get a Grip. This is a really fantastic, real kicking 12-inch actually. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. And with Ronnie, I haven't actually got vinyl. I've got a couple of CDs of his. I feel like playing and Give Me Some Neck. So I've got those for Ronnie. And they're both really good albums actually. Ronnie's such a fantastic musician. I love hearing interviews with him as well. He's got a few shows in the UK and he's always good to see. So that's solo records by all members of the band. Keith, Mick and Ronnie. Most unusual vinyl. Apologies, I've shown this before. It was a year ago and it was on Rob Walker's thread for last year. So this is a year back. But I've got lots of picture discs and funny shapes and things. But this is something which I think is probably really rare. And it's in the shape of a football. And it's England football team, their 1970 World Cup song. And we lost that particular World Cup to Brazil. Doesn't everybody? But the world beaters sing the world beaters. And obviously at that time, before we went into this tournament, we were World Cup holders, where we won the World Cup in 1966. But pretty fragile this, but it's yeah, round cover. There we go. Number 9, an act you only like up to a certain period in their history. Well, the first one I thought of here is Queen, actually, but I've said this before, with their first 3 albums I think are absolutely stunning, but after that I lose a bit of interest. But another act, which I like their first, another act which has produced 31 studio albums, and I love the first 9 albums, but after that I lose interest. And this is the last album in the sequence, so from number 1, Empty Sky, all the way through to Captain Fantastic, Look Away Now, Ben Rankins. I love this album. I think it's one of his best. So that's Empty Sky, Elton John, Tumbleweed Connection, Madman Across the Water, Honky Chateau, Don't Shoot Me, I'm a Piano Player, the incredible Yellow Brick Road, Caribou, and Captain Fantastic. I think all of those are superb, those 9 albums. Next one was Rock of the Westies, which is, okay, so-so, could have just sneaked in. But the first 9 albums, excellent. Thereafter, I lose a bit of interest in Elton. And the very final question from Martin, and I'll put all the links below. I'll put the questions, I'll copy and paste the questions, and I'll put a link to actually Martin's competition. But the last question, number 10, favourite film spin-off from a TV show. So I had to really think about this one. And what I've settled with is, this won't mean anything outside the UK, but it's huge in the UK, Dad's Army. So this is a wonderful box set. I think there's about 80 episodes in this, but this ran from 1968 to about 1977. Incredibly popular comedy, half-an-hour comedy. And it was all about the Home Guard in World War II. So all the retired soldiers, or all the retired men who didn't make it into the regular army because they were too old, too young, problem with them, so they all went into the Home Guard, which in this show was called Dad's Army. From this there was also a film spin-off, and the film was much the same, but it was kind of, you know, almost a 2-hour film, and it's really brilliant. But as I said, there's about 80 episodes in this one. Starts off black and white, then moves into colour. And this particular box set, you've got lost episodes and various things. So this is a really enjoyable box set. So that's my contest entry for Martin Harris, celebrating 1,000 subs. So well done, Martin. And I'll put all the links below. Thanks, folks.